Dortmund in the second leg of their Champions League round of 16 tie. It was Karim Adeyemi who scored a brilliant solo goal 3 weeks ago. That's the difference between the two sides. Graham Potter is still under pressure, but the beleaguered manager did see that ease somewhat at the weekend with a narrow 1-0 victory against Leeds United. But this will be a very tough fixture. Edin Terzic as Dortmund went top of the Bundesliga table at the weekend following a victory against RB Leipzig. Chelsea make 2 alterations from that Leeds game. Marc Cucurella comes in at the back. He's replaced Benoit Badiashile, who's ineligible for the competition because he wasn't registered. Reece James comes in for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea go with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, a back 3 of Wesley Fofana, Kalidou Koulibaly and Marc Cucurella. Reece James, Mateo Kovacic, Enzo Fernandez and Ben Chilwell across the midfield, with Raheem Sterling and João Felix in support of Kai Havertz. As for Dortmund, they make 1 alteration from the Leipzig win. Rafael Guerreiro comes in for the suspended Julian Ryerson. They've got Alexander Meyer in goal, a back 4 of Marius Wolf, Niklas Schüller, Nico Schlotterbeck and Guerreiro. Emre Can holds in midfield with Julian Brandt, Jude Bellingham, Sal Oscar and Marco Reus in behind the lone forward Sebastian Haller. Kick-off coming at 8 o'clock UK time. There's work to do for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge this evening as they seek to overturn a 1-0 deficit against Borussia Dortmund in the second leg of their Champions League round of 16 tie. It was Karim Adeyemi who scored a brilliant solo goal 3 weeks ago. That's the difference between the two sides. Graham Potter is still under pressure, but the beleaguered manager did see that ease somewhat at the weekend with a narrow 1-0 victory against Leeds United. But this will be a very tough fixture. Edin Terzic as Dortmund went top of the Bundesliga table at the weekend following a victory against RB Leipzig. Chelsea make 2 alterations from that Leeds game. Marc Cucurella comes in at the back. He's replaced Benoit Badiashile, who's ineligible for the competition because he wasn't registered. Reece James comes in for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea go with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, a back 3 of Wesley Fofana, Kalidou Koulibaly and Marc Cucurella. Reece James, Mateo Kovacic, Enzo Fernandez and Ben Chilwell across the midfield, with Raheem Sterling and João Felix in support of Kai Havertz. As for Dortmund, they make 1 alteration from the Leipzig win. Rafael Guerreiro comes in for the suspended Julian Ryerson. They've got Alexander Meyer in goal, a back 4 of Marius Wolf, Niklas Schüller, Nico Schlotterbeck and Guerreiro. Emre Can holds in midfield with Julian Brandt, Jude Bellingham, Sal Oscar and Marco Reus in behind the lone forward Sebastian Haller. Kick-off coming at 8 o'clock UK time. There's work to do for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge this evening as they seek to overturn a 1-0 deficit against Borussia Dortmund in the second leg of their Champions League round of 16 tie. It was Karim Adeyemi who scored a brilliant solo goal 3 weeks ago. That's the difference between the two sides. Graham Potter is still under pressure, but the beleaguered manager did see that ease somewhat at the weekend with a narrow 1-0 victory against Leeds United. But this will be a very tough fixture. Edin Terzic as Dortmund went top of the Bundesliga table at the weekend following a victory against RB Leipzig. Chelsea make 2 alterations from that Leeds game. Marc Cucurella comes in at the back. He's replaced Benoit Badiashile, who's ineligible for the competition because he wasn't registered. Reece James comes in for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea go with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, a back 3 of Wesley Fofana, Kalidou Koulibaly and Marc Cucurella. Reece James, Mateo Kovacic, Enzo Fernandez and Ben Chilwell across the midfield, with Raheem Sterling and João Felix in support of Kai Havertz. As for Dortmund, they make 1 alteration from the Leipzig win. Rafael Guerreiro comes in for the suspended Julian Ryerson. They've got Alexander Meyer in goal, a back 4 of Marius Wolf, Niklas Schüller, Nico Schlotterbeck and Guerreiro. Emre Can holds in midfield with Julian Brandt, Jude Bellingham, Sal Oscar and Marco Reus in behind the lone forward Sebastian Haller. Kick-off coming at 8 o'clock UK time. There's work to do for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge this evening as they seek to overturn a 1-0 deficit against Borussia Dortmund in the second leg of their Champions League round of 16 tie. It was Karim Adeyemi who scored a brilliant solo goal 3 weeks ago. That's the difference between the two sides. Graham Potter is still under pressure, but the beleaguered manager did see that ease somewhat at the weekend with a narrow 1-0 victory against Leeds United. But this will be a very tough fixture. Edin Terzic as Dortmund went top of the Bundesliga table at the weekend following a victory against RB Leipzig. Chelsea make 2 alterations from that Leeds game. Marc Cucurella comes in at the back. He's replaced Benoit Badiashile, who's ineligible for the competition because he wasn't registered. Reece James comes in for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea go with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal. A back three of Wesley Fofana, Kalidou Koulibaly and Marc Cucurella. Reece James, Mateo Kovacic, Enzo Fernandez and Ben Chilwell across the midfield, with Raheem Sterling and João Felix in support of Kai Havertz. As for Dortmund, they make one alteration from the Leipzig win. Rafael Guerreiro comes in for the suspended Julian Ryerson. They've got Alexander Meyer in goal, a back four of Marius Wolf, Niklas Schüller, Nico Slotterbeck and Guerreiro. Emre Can holds in midfield with Julian Brandt, Jude Bellingham, Sal Oscar and Marco Reus in behind the lone forward Sebastian Haller. Kick-off coming at 8 o'clock UK time. There's work to do for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge this evening as they seek to overturn a 1-0 deficit against Borussia Dortmund in the second leg of their Champions League round of 16 tie. It was Karim Adeyemi who scored a brilliant solo goal 3 weeks ago. That's the difference between the two sides. Graham Potter is still under pressure, but the beleaguered manager did see that ease somewhat at the weekend with a narrow 1-0 victory against Leeds United. But this will be a very tough fixture heading Terzic as Dortmund went top of the Bundesliga table at the weekend following a victory against RB Leipzig. Chelsea make two alterations from that Leeds game. Marc Cucurella comes in at the back. He's replaced Benoit Badiashile, who's ineligible for the competition because he wasn't registered. Reece James comes in for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea go with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal. A back three of Wesley Fofana, Kalidou Koulibaly and Marc Cucurella. Reece James, Mateo Kovacic, Enzo Fernandez and Ben Chilwell across the midfield, with Raheem Sterling and João Felix in support of Kai Havertz. As for Dortmund, they make one alteration from the Leipzig win. Rafael Guerreiro comes in for the suspended Julian Ryerson. They've got Alexander Meyer in goal, a back four of Marius Wolf, Niklas Schüller, Nico Slotterbeck and Guerreiro. Emre Can holds in midfield with Julian Brandt, Jude Bellingham, Sal Oscar and Marco Reus in behind the lone forward Sebastian Haller. Kick-off coming at 8 o'clock UK time. There's work to do for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge this evening as they seek to overturn a 1-0 deficit against Borussia Dortmund in the second leg of their Champions League round of 16 tie. It was Karim Adeyemi who scored a brilliant solo goal 3 weeks ago. That's the difference between the two sides. Graham Potter is still under pressure, but the beleaguered manager did see that ease somewhat at the weekend with a narrow 1-0 victory against Leeds United. But this will be a very tough fixture heading Terzic as Dortmund went top of the Bundesliga table at the weekend following a victory against RB Leipzig. Chelsea make two alterations from that Leeds game. Marc Cucurella comes in at the back. He's replaced Benoit Badiashile, who's ineligible for the competition because he wasn't registered. Reece James comes in for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea go with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, a back three of Wesley Fofana, Kalidou Koulibaly and Marc Cucurella. Reece James, Mateo Kovacic, Enzo Fernandez and Ben Chilwell across the midfield, with Raheem Sterling and João Felix in support of Kai Havertz. As for Dortmund, they make one alteration from the Leipzig win. Rafael Guerreiro comes in for the suspended Julian Ryerson. They've got Alexander Meyer in goal, a back four of Marius Wolf, Niklas Schüller, Nico Slotterbeck and Guerreiro. Emre Can holds in midfield with Julian Brandt, Jude Bellingham, Sal Oscar and Marco Reus in behind the lone forward Sebastian Haller. Kick-off coming at 8 o'clock UK time. There's work to do for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge this evening as they seek to overturn a 1-0 deficit against Borussia Dortmund in the second leg of their Champions League round of 16 tie. It was Karim Adeyemi who scored a brilliant solo goal 3 weeks ago. That's the difference between the two sides. Graham Potter is still under pressure, but the beleaguered manager did see that ease somewhat at the weekend with a narrow 1-0 victory against Leeds United. But this will be a very tough fixture heading Terzic as Dortmund went top of the Bundesliga table at the weekend following a victory against RB Leipzig. Chelsea make two alterations from that Leeds game. Marc Cucurella comes in at the back. He's replaced Benoit Badiashile, who's ineligible for the competition because he wasn't registered. Reece James comes in for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea go with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, a back three of Wesley Fofana, Kalidou Koulibaly and Marc Cucurella. Reece James, Mateo Kovacic, Enzo Fernandez and Ben Chilwell across the midfield, with Raheem Sterling and João Felix in support of Kai Havertz. As for Dortmund, they make one alteration from the Leipzig win. Rafael Guerreiro comes in for the suspended Julian Ryerson. They've got Alexander Meyer in goal, a back four of Marius Wolf, Niklas Schuler, Nico Slotterbeck and Guerrero. Emre Can holds in midfield with Julian Brandt, Jude Bellingham, Sal Oscar and Marco Reus in behind the lone forward Sebastian Haller. Kick-off coming at 8 o'clock UK time. There's work to do for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge this evening as they seek to overturn a 1-0 deficit against Borussia Dortmund in the second leg of their Champions League round of 16 tie. It was Karim Adeyemi who scored a brilliant solo goal 3 weeks ago. That's the difference between the two sides. Graham Potter is still under pressure, but the beleaguered manager did see that ease somewhat at the weekend with a narrow 1-0 victory against Leeds United. But this will be a very tough fixture heading Terzic as Dortmund went top of the Bundesliga table at the weekend following a victory against RB Leipzig. Chelsea make 2 alterations from that Leeds game. Marc Cucurella comes in at the back. He's replaced Benoit Badiashile, who's ineligible for the competition because he wasn't registered. Reece James comes in for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea go with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, a back three of Wesley Fofana, Kalidou Koulibaly and Marc Cucurella. Reece James, Mateo Kovacic, Enzo Fernandez and Ben Chilwell across the midfield with Raheem Sterling and João Felix in support of Kai Havertz. As for Dortmund, they make 1 alteration from the Leipzig win. Rafael Guerreiro comes in for the suspended Julian Ryerson. They've got Alexander Meyer in goal, a back four of Marius Wolf, Niklas Schuler, Nico Slotterbeck and Guerrero. Emre Can holds in midfield with Julian Brandt, Jude Bellingham, Sal Oscar and Marco Reus in behind the lone forward Sebastian Haller. Kick-off coming at 8 o'clock UK time. There's work to do for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge this evening as they seek to overturn a 1-0 deficit against Borussia Dortmund in the second leg of their Champions League round of 16 tie. It was Karim Adeyemi who scored a brilliant solo goal 3 weeks ago. That's the difference between the two sides. Graham Potter is still under pressure, but the beleaguered manager did see that ease somewhat at the weekend with a narrow 1-0 victory against Leeds United. But this will be a very tough fixture heading Terzic as Dortmund went top of the Bundesliga table at the weekend following a victory against RB Leipzig. Chelsea make 2 alterations from that Leeds game. Marc Cucurella comes in at the back. He's replaced Benoit Badiashile, who's ineligible for the competition because he wasn't registered. Reece James comes in for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea go with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, a back three of Fofana, Kalidou Koulibaly and Marc Cucurella. Reece James, Mateo Kovacic, Enzo Fernandez and Ben Chilwell across the midfield with Raheem Sterling and João Felix in support of Kai Havertz. As for Dortmund, they make 1 alteration from the Leipzig win. Rafael Guerreiro comes in for suspended Julian Ryerson. They've got Alexander Meyer in goal, a back four of Marius Wolf, Niklas Schuler, Nico Slotterbeck and Guerrero. Emre Can holds in midfield with Julian Brandt, Jude Bellingham, Sal Oscar. Right, we'll just leave that there. A very warm welcome along to Stamford Bridge, a slightly delayed welcome, a 10-minute delay to the kickoff because Borussia Dortmund's team bus arrived late. But we are off and underway now, and it's Chelsea who are hoping to try and reverse the scoreline from the first leg. Dortmund managed to take a nip-and-tuck game 1-0. That was 3 weeks ago now at the Westfalenstadion. Since then, Chelsea have not really had too much success, but they did get a 1-0 win against Leeds United at the weekend, and that has alleviated some of the pressure on Graham Potter. But make no mistake, there is still a considerable amount on him because he's not had a good run so far as Chelsea manager, despite the vast spending of their January transfer window. He struggled really to mould a team together, particularly going forward. They've struggled, and they might struggle to keep out a Borussia Dortmund team who will be full of confidence right now, top of the Bundesliga, and they've got a very early corner kick which will be taken out swinging by Julian Brandt. Effort aimed towards goal, but Chelsea are able to clear it. Guerrero plays it forward. It's nodded away by Cucurella. It's taken on now by Jude Bellingham, trying to wriggle into space. He's dispossessed by Kalidou Koulibaly, and now Chelsea can come forward on the counter. Ball played forward quickly through to Raheem Sterling. Sterling one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He's dillied and he's dallied, and he didn't get the shot away, and that's ultimately been saved comfortably by Alexander Meyer. Raheem Sterling, I don't think he was caught in 2 minds. I think he was caught in about 3 or 4. Whether he thought he was offside or not, he might have just gone half a yard too soon, but That should have led to a better chance for Chelsea. I'll run you through the two teams in a moment. It's myself, Dan McCarthy, and Ben White to take you through the action this evening. And Ben, pretty lively start to the game for both sides.
It has been, hasn't it, Dan? Yeah, an exciting one that lies ahead. It's probably been maybe helped by the fact that there was that 10-minute delay. The crowd at Stamford Bridge might be just a little bit up for it more now after that extended delay. Obviously, the Dortmund fans as well. But, I mean, you called the first leg as nip and tuck, and I think that's spot on, isn't it? Because it's a narrow margin that Dortmund have. They probably would have preferred to have scored one or two more, given that they were at home. But they might be slightly encouraged by the fact that Chelsea just can't score, can they? Because whilst it is only a one-goal deficit that Graham Potter's men have, they just simply can't score. And they got the minimal victory against Leeds. And a repeat of that today would only take into extra time, of course. And, yeah, despite all of the spending in the winter, they just can't really get that attacking talent to flow through. But a real chance today, isn't it, to try and get further in the Champions League knockout rounds. They've got a free kick here, deep inside Dortmund territory. It has been a very exciting start, hasn't it? We had that Dortmund corner that eventually came to nothing, but Chelsea just getting on the front foot in the early stages, breaking into the final third of Dortmund on a few occasions, and now they have a free kick in a relatively dangerous position.
Yeah, it looks like a very frenzied atmosphere at Stamford Bridge, largely coming from the away fans. There's a real haze of yellow smoke that has come from Dortmund, who are in trouble early on because Julian Brandt has gone down already. This looks like it could end his game. That is a free kick, but Brandt has gone down, and there was a substitute getting ready on the sidelines. Couldn't quite see.
I think it was Gio Reyna maybe as one of the options.
Yeah, I think you are right. Brandt's down on his he sat down. He's getting the back of his sort of hamstring on his left leg taped up really tightly as well. So whether or not they're going to try and persist with him for the rest of the game, but nightmare start for Dortmund if they've got to lose one of their main creators.
Well, it is, and well, Kai Havertz gives him a sort of commiserative hug. But yeah, for me, this almost seems like it was on the minds of Dortmund that he could get injured, because immediately he goes, sat down. The physios immediately put tape on his left thigh. He went off after starting at the weekend against Leipzig with what Dortmund earned a 2-1 victory. He went off as a substitute there. Maybe he was a risk ahead of this one. And he only 4 minutes in, 3 minutes really, when he went down, wasn't it? The precaution, they obviously took the risk in starting him. And yeah, it hasn't paid off. So a really early substitution for Dortmund to make. And yeah, an enforced one. It is going to be the number 7, Gio Reyna, the American international, coming on.
Yeah, so you would ask a few questions maybe of Borussia Dortmund's medical team and how well they assessed the risk ahead of the contest as far as Julian Brandt is concerned. So he's off, Gio Reyna on. Now Dortmund have got some defending to do from a free kick as the ball is swung towards the back post. It was aimed towards Koulibaly at the back post. Chelsea are claiming that it should be their ball. But yeah, a bit of an awkward start for Borussia Dortmund, to say the least, losing Julian Brandt. Gio Reyna is a very talented player in his own right, but that's not something that Edin Terzic will have wanted to do. His side have been outstanding so far this season in the Bundesliga as they look to end the decade-long Bayern Munich stranglehold of the top division in Germany. They are 3 points ahead of Bayern, but Bayern do have a considerably better goal difference and they've got a game in hand, so you suggest that they're still on top, but that'll only give confidence, extra confidence to Borussia Dortmund, the fact that they are, for now at least, the top dogs in Germany. But they've given the ball away again at the back. Sterling now to João Felix. Felix looks to wriggle past the Dortmund defence. It was Niklas Süle who he got past. He made the angle a little bit tight for himself, and Alexander Meyer was able to come across and make a save as Felix tried to take the ball back into the middle of the area. But Graham Potter can be pleased with the way that Chelsea have started.
Yeah, and I think Felix makes the right decision there, because on the one hand he might curl it with his right foot, but he's got Niklas Süle there marking him. Tries to check and fake shot with going onto his left. Just a bit too much of a heavy touch in the end, isn't it? So the keeper could snuff it out. Ball comes in from Ben Chilwell, the outswing, and nearly onto the head of Koulibaly. It did reach the Senegalese centre-back, but he just couldn't time his jump to perfection. Goes out for a goal kick. But just before the corner, we saw Graham Potter there, didn't we? Sort of animating the crowd. He's obviously very happy with the intensity from his starting 11 already. And the crowd are certainly appreciating the effort too.
Yeah, they certainly are. And never really saw Graham Potter get that animated when he was at Brighton and previously at Swansea. He was always very professor-like on the touchline. He's had to get a little bit more animated, I think, maybe to buy a little bit of favour with the Chelsea fans, but he was shouting yes and yes, and I think he's enjoyed what he's seen so far. And the header from Kalidou Koulibaly, he made a really good climb. We've just got some TV pictures of him now, and he still looks a little bit frustrated because he got a free header and he completely mistimed the jump and skidded well wide of the target.
Well, he's obviously the target because after Julian Brandt went down and then Chelsea took that set piece, it was onto the head of Koulibaly as well. So he's obviously the target man in these dead ball scenarios just because of his height and his strength. He was at the back post for that free kick, sort of centre of goal for the corner. As Kai Havertz is through on goal, he got a chance to strike with his weaker foot, and he was just put off there from Emre Can. I think whether you want to call it smart defending or as he just crossed the line in trying to shove over Kai Havertz as he's about to pull the trigger. Referee has given a goal kick, but again, just such an explosive start from Chelsea. Havertz is under pressure and forced onto his weaker right foot. Emre Can just leaves a little arm on his back, puts him slightly off balance. I think you've got to give credit to Emre Can there because he's sort of is not really bending the rules, is he? He's just sort of being a bit more streetwise.
Well, I've got to say, this is probably the best I've seen Chelsea for quite some time. I know we're 8 minutes in, so it's not exactly a massive sample size, but there appears to be a good understanding between Felix, Sterling and Havertz. But now Felix has just lost his footing slightly and he's gone down to the ground now. This one could be a very attritional champion. It's on the sidelines and then falls awkwardly. Well, if they lose him, then Graham Potter will be wondering what he has to do to buy some good luck, because I think in the short periods we've seen of Felix so far at Chelsea, he's been quite effective. He's up on his feet now. Maybe it's just one of those slight scares where the ankle turns but there's no lasting damage, but he could be vital to Chelsea's hopes, not just this evening but going forward for the rest of the season.
Oh no, absolutely, and I think he's got something to prove, hasn't he, because he's had a difficult period at Atletico Madrid. He didn't really get on well with the manager Diego Simeone, did he? But at the same time, he wasn't maybe in his favoured position, sort of alternating across the entire of the front three or front four, what have you. And with Chelsea, maybe just a bit more of a focal point in their attack. Of course, they're still not really a recognised striker. They're starting with Sterling, Havertz and Felix, who are all capable of finding the back of the net, but they're just not that sort of reference point up top. He's had a great start to, a good start, I should say, rather, to his Chelsea career, and a lot to prove on a loan spell that could eventually, dependent on his performances, could turn permanent.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange deal that was struck with Atletico Madrid, really, because, as I understand it, there's no clause in there for a permanent deal, and he was handed a new contract at Atletico just before he made the move, so a little bit peculiar, maybe just to bump his value up slightly, and Atletico may look to sell during the summer. Cucurella guilty of a foul, by the way, on Jude Bellingham, so it will be a free kick for Borussia Dortmund inside their own half. We've already had 10 minutes of this game. It's absolutely flown by. It's been played at a real high pace, particularly from Chelsea. They're desperate to try and get an early goal at least and put the tie on a level footing going forward. Havertz is breaking forward, trying to get away from Nico Schlotterbeck, but unable to do so on this occasion. He'll be very familiar with plenty of the players in the Borussia Dortmund side. Havertz, of course, being fellow German international alongside the likes of Schuler, Schlotterbeck, Emre Can, the heart of the Dortmund team in many ways, so Havertz will look to try and exploit them. This is not the only game we've got available to you on this service this evening. We've got the other game from the Champions League round of 16, where it's Benfica 2, Club Brugge 0. Benfica currently 2-0 up from the first leg. They thought they had an early goal, but subsequently ruled out by VAR. And in League 1, we've got Plymouth 0, Derby 1. So a bit of a turn up for the Bucks. Plymouth never lose at home park as it is, and it's been a real fortress for them this season. Here's Emre Can as Dortmund try and mount an attack in this game. They had that corner early on, but since then it's been largely dominated by the Blues. Can on the ball once again, plays it out wide for Marius Wolf now. Wolf in field to Joe Reyna. Here is Chan again, and Dortmund keeping hold of the ball, not doing anything too flashy with it, but they're making sure that Chelsea are doing the running for now at least. They've not had a bad defensive record under Graham Potter, but Chelsea's goal-scoring record, looking at their Premier League results, only 2 strikes in their last 6 games. It's been a real problem for them, and one of them, the goal that they scored against Leeds on Saturday, was from Wesley Fofana. It was a header from a set piece, so from open play, goals have not been in plentiful supply. I mean, it's a bit of a strange one, really. I mean, I personally think that Graham Potter was given all of these players in January, probably without wanting them, and it was just overkill, and he's got too many players to choose from, if you like.
Yeah, you could make your assumptions as to what a Graham Potter player is, couldn't you? Because there's obviously some that Todd Bowley or anyone on the directors board would have wanted, maybe when Potter didn't. Yeah, there's so much money spent at either end of the pitch. Obviously, that maybe the defence has been a bit more effective than the attack, isn't it? Because you said it yourself, they've been a lot more strong in the defensive unit. I mean, before the Leeds match, they did lose their consecutive Premier League games, but then they got that win with the clean sheet. And whilst it's against a relegation struggler in Leeds United, you just hope that any victory is sort of a turning point in what has been a difficult season, and then to come in a crucial second leg tie in the Champions League, ball in from Marco Reus from that free kick, cleared well by the Chelsea defence. But yeah, after that win against Leeds, you then get a Champions League fixture, and if you sort of qualify for the next round, then confidence could easily be at an all-time high.
Yeah, it certainly could, as Dortmund look to get themselves on the front foot now. It's a very high looping ball in from Marius Wolf. Reece James, I think, didn't know whether to leave it or to get something on it. He's just glanced it behind for a Dortmund throw-in right by the corner flag over on the far side. It's Dortmund going from left to right in this first half, by the way. Chelsea going from right to left, both playing in their home kits, which is what we like to see. No reason for any change. Here's Bellingham now, just pirouetting on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. And now it's a chance for Schuler to try and come forward. It's cleared. Havertz tries to dab it into the path of Enzo Fernandez. That's a good challenge in midfield from Özcan. And now Reina, who's gone over to the left-hand side. Here's Chan, who will be happy to drop in and make the Dortmund backline at a back 3. He is playing in midfield, but he's got the capability of operating in that position. Good option to have in terms of his versatility. Here's Bellingham now. Bellingham dispossessed well by Fofana. Comes to Havertz. All a little bit chaotic at the moment. Dortmund get the ball. They're coming back forward. Reina with the layoff. And it's back now with Gio Reyna. It's with Wolf now. Wolf, I think, may have fancied the shot, but Reina was brought down, and that's going to be a Dortmund free kick in a fairly promising position. I think it's just about in strikeable range.
It is. It's a smart decision from the referee, because you said it yourself, Wolf could have pulled the trigger. It might not have been the best of ideas. And yeah, when the foul was made by Fofana, it was in a better position for a sort of goal-scoring threat for Dortmund. And yeah, with a dead ball scenario, we've obviously seen what Chelsea have tried to do from their set pieces. And whilst they sort of haven't had one where they could have taken an effort at the Dortmund keeper, Dortmund have got a chance at Arisa Balaga this time.
Yeah, Kepa, who is the probably undisputed first-choice goalkeeper at Chelsea now, ahead of Edouard Mendy. Nice renaissance for the man who cost Chelsea £73 million a few years ago. The most notable moment in his Chelsea career was when he refused to come off in the Carabao Cup final. Making amends now. A bit of pushing and shoving going on in the penalty area. The referee is Danny Macaulay, the Dutchman, who's tending to get a lot of the high-profile Champions League games these days, and he's just got to go over and really tell João Felix not to get involved with the 2 Dortmund players who are trying to block Chelsea's wall, really. Strike comes in over the top, and that's a great stop from Kepa. I think it was Marco Reus that unleashed the strike from around about 25 yards out, and Kepa, I don't think saw it until late. It was Reus. It was going on target. And that's a really good stop from Kepa. It's
a great save, isn't it? He chose placement more than power, didn't he, Marco Reus? The second wall that the Germans created there was to put him off at the far post, but he tried at the near post. to catch out Arisa Balaga, but it's a great save. He's at full stretch. As you said, gets a good palm on it to parry it away from danger as well. We'll just see another replay of it. It does goes over the heads of Fofana and Kai Havertz, two obviously very tall players, so Marco Reus couldn't have done much more in picking the side net in top corner as well. So great save by Arisa Balaga, but it's gone off for a Dortmund corner now, so a chance for them to try another threatening dead ball situation.
Yeah, outswinging delivery incoming from Guerrero in towards Sebastian Aller, who we've not really seen touch the ball as of yet. Dortmund have struggled to mount too many attacks. They've had a couple of set pieces, and that Royce free kick, the best chance of the game from their point of view. But I think Graham Potter will be quite happy with what he's seen so far. Dortmund trying to link up down the far left-hand side, but it's Enzo Fernandez who gets back. 72% possession for Borussia Dortmund. Yet Chelsea seem to have looked a little bit more threatening.
Yeah, I'm rather surprised by that figure, I have to say, Dan. And I mean, Chelsea do have to be on the front foot, don't they? Because they need their goals. And you say yourself, Potter will be definitely happy with how his team have started this match. But just as the minutes go by, if they don't find that opener, the pressure might start to sink in just a little bit more.
Throw in now for Dortmund. Schlotterbeck just waiting for a ball to come his way. In fact, Guerrero is the man who's going to take it. Champions League winners on 2 occasions, Chelsea. One time in 2012 when they defeated Bayern Munich on penalties, and then Manchester City a few years ago in what was the sort of lockdown, the semi-lockdown final. The full lockdown final was the year before when Bayern defeated PSG. Kai Havertz getting the goal against Manchester City, and they went into that game pretty unfancied, it's got to be said, but they managed to get the results. And Graham Potter lead Chelsea to a similar one this season. It would be a remarkable turnaround if he could. I know there are swathes of Chelsea fans who are calling for Potter to be sacked. Again, I'll reference that game against Leeds at the weekend. That's bought him a little bit of extra time, but what for you would be the aim for Chelsea, or should be the aim for Chelsea for the rest of the season? Because the top 4 looks pretty hopeless right now. I'll come back to that because Chelsea are coming forward. Sterling's ball into the path of Reece James is inaccurate. Schuler gets across and he's cleared it as far as Marco Reus, but now he's given possession away to Havertz. Havertz now, and then sent into the box by Enzo Fernandez, just looking to lift it towards Havertz, who didn't continue his run, and Dortmund can bowl it forward. It's with Bellingham now. He's going to buy the free kick. Oh, he stays on his feet, and Dortmund will keep hold of the ball. But what should Chelsea be looking for the rest of the season, Ben?
Yeah, I think maybe the main aspect is just to make a good account of yourselves in the games that you do have left, because they've made a lot of signings, and so often when that's the case, it's more of a sort of a long-term process, and you've got to be patient for them all to gel. Having said that, they are still in the Champions League, aren't they? And it's still a narrow margin, and in the knockout format, anything can happen, can't it? And whilst it is 2 legs, sort of a good performance in only one period of 90 minutes could see you through to the next round, and then all of a sudden the confidence is blooming. And as for the Premier League, maybe just that I want that season to come to an end sooner rather than later, just to think ahead to future seasons. Of course, there's frustration around Graham Potter, and obviously when you get the title of saying that the Leeds game is maybe your last chance, that's never a good sign in the first place, is it? If you're sort of on your last chance, it just seems only a matter of time when it comes to an end. But he does have plenty of opportunities to right those wrongs, many wrongs that you could argue aren't really his fault as well. It's just been a difficult campaign for him, as in a transitional Chelsea, really.
Yeah, I think transitional is probably the correct word to use, with Todd Boehly coming in the summer, replacing Roman Abramovich, a man who, you can say what you like about him, Chelsea were ridiculously successful in his reign, and Todd Boehly's come in and almost trying to show that he's the big I am in a similar manner to Abramovich, splashing the cash, and maybe he needs reining in a little bit, needs someone to, be more strategic alongside him, because even though a lot of the signings are young players who've got potential, that does seem a little bit scattergun the way they've gone about things.
Well, without being critical, sort of from the period of Roman Abramovich, it's what a lot of Chelsea fans really only have ever known. Because when he came in the early 2000s, he was straight away, spending a lot of money on some big name players. And maybe Todd Bowley has thought that that's how you get your fans on side when he becomes in charge, and he has done so. It hasn't worked out in the same way as it did for Abramovich in his early years. But as we said, it's a long process, isn't it? They've done well to sort of convince so many players, so many high-profile players, to come and play for Chelsea, even when they've struggled this season. So it's only really a matter of time before they do gel, and when they do gel, it will be a great experience for the fans.
It should be, and Potter will hope to be part of that great experience. It was nice to see one of the big Premier League clubs offer the chance to an English manager, and Graham Potter took that chance with both hands, leaving Brighton. Right now Brighton are above Chelsea in the Premier League table, 10th position at the minute for the Blues, and they'll be hoping to at least finish in the top 6 come what the end of the season. We are about halfway through the first half now here at Stamford Bridge, where the scoreline is Chelsea 0, Borussia Dortmund 0. Borussia Dortmund still lead by a goal to 0 on aggregate. Here's Ben to take us through to half time.
Cheers, Dan. Yeah, we had a great first 10 minutes, didn't we? A really frantic one, and since then it's been relatively stop start. Danny McHale is going for a few free kicks. Another one there in the favour of Kalidou Koulibaly. Still goalless here. The tie does still, of course, hang firmly in the balance with only the 1-0 aggregate. You'd assume that Chelsea will consider themselves at least on the night favourites, given they are at home, and we'll hope that the Stamford Bridge faithful get them over the line. Here's Cucurella trying to find João Felix, the miscontrol from him, but he gets the second ball back at his feet and does well to find Fofana in space to run forward into Dortmund's half now. Kai Havertz laying it off to Reece James now. Enzo Fernandez, the British record transfer, coming in from Benfica in the winter. Of course, Benfica playing tonight as well in the round of 16. Still goalless between them and Scott Parker's Club Brugge. 2-0 on aggregate to the Portuguese team. As Dortmund are through on goal here now with Gio Reyna. Good through ball from the midfield. He cuts it right across the face of goal. It was ahead of Marco Reus, and coming racing through the back post was Jude Bellingham, but he just couldn't reach it in time. Arisa Balaga didn't know whether to come and dive and intercept it or let the defenders deal with it. It was a real teasing ball from Reyna, and he's starting to think of where Seb Haller could have been. He laid it off in midfield and was out of the game, really, and that's the sort of pass that just begs for a centre forward to get on the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, I am a little bit surprised that no one was there. It's a great pass from Wolf through towards Gio Reyna, who I thought was being held onto a little bit by Mateo Kovacic, and fair play to Reyna, stayed on his feet. I think he could have gone down and maybe been awarded a penalty kick, but it's a fantastic little pullback, and there should have been someone there to supply a tap-in.
Dortmund just getting into the groove now, in an attacking sense at least. Well, bad news for Chelsea fans is that Dortmund have opened the scoring in all of their last 8 matches in all competitions. If they were to do so here, it would double the aggregate scoreline in favour of the Schwarz-Gelben. Here's Emre Can now finding Saliers Can, going all the way back to Nicolas Sule. Schlotterbeck dropping deeper. Good pressure from Chelsea. That very flexible front three of Kai Havertz, João Felix and Raheem Sterling can all play in any of the front 3 positions. Still dominant in possession of Dortmund, 71% compared to Chelsea's 29. We've got another man down in the middle of the park, Emre Can, on this occasion. Just holding his shoulder, I think. The manager, Edin Terzic, is giving this a good excuse to bring some players over and just have a quick team talk with some of his team. As we just see a replay of it. Yeah. Emre Can, he tries to go over Kai Havertz, doesn't he? And he lands so awkwardly. He puts out his right hand to cushion his fall, and in doing so, all of his weight just goes on it. It looked like his elbow might have locked as well. He's sat up now, maybe rather encouragingly, given that it was a very awkward fall.
Yeah, they don't look nice, though, particularly when it's the slow motion replay, though I suppose the slow motion replay doesn't really do any challenge any favours. He's up now, he's walking a little bit uncomfortably, Emre Can, but it's another one like we saw earlier on in the game with João Felix. I think in a couple of minutes he'll be able to run it off quite nicely. It is interesting the kind of game plan that Chelsea are adopting. I think they're almost happy for Dortmund to have a bit more of the ball, because what they do have in Sterling, in Reece James, in Ben Chilwell, they've got plenty of energy and speed to get forward. So if the space opens up, they've got someone like João Felix who can wriggle into space, he can pick up a pass. Chelsea almost trying to set Dortmund into a trap, if you like.
Yeah, it's a different dynamic from Chelsea, isn't it? I remember quite a few games under Graham Potter, that back three, more often than not when it had Thiago Silva in there'd be a lot of possession-based football, but they're happy to see the visitors have more of that, and they're offering more of a direct approach. Oh, the Blues, and they're in Dortmund's final third here with Kai Havertz. He's got Reece James and Enzo Fernandez for help, and ricochet falls kindly for Chelsea. Good ball in from Reece James. Can it reach Raheem Sterling? No, it can't, and then it does come to Kai Havertz, and it's a snapshot from the edge of the area, nearly catching out at Alexander Meyer at his near post. It crashes off the inside of the post, and all of a sudden you're wondering where it's going to bounce, whether it goes over the line or not. Raheem Sterling was just stood there watching where it would have ended up. Meyer doesn't get a touch on it, and then the backspin of it just sends it bouncing all the way out for a goal kick. Best chance of the game, not really a clear chance, just owing to the great technique of the strike from Kai Havertz.
That is so unfortunate, and again Graham Potter must be absolutely cursing the fact that he can strike the ball so well. I mean, Meyer was getting nowhere near it. For it to then hit the post, and not only for it to ricochet back into play, but for the backspin, as you say, to take it out for a goal kick. I mean, Chelsea must be wondering what they've got to do. But again, even though they're not having much of the ball, they are still looking like a threat to Borussia Dortmund, who defensively are not really the most solid of units. They're good going forward. And I think Chelsea have still got a great opportunity of progressing into the quarter-finals, because Dortmund have looked vulnerable so far.
Speaking of Dortmund, they nearly breached the Chelsea defence. The through ball from Rafael Guerreiro not reaching his teammate Marco Reus in time. It's out for a Chelsea goal kick, but you said it yourself, so when you're struggling in a season and luck doesn't really go on your side either, does it? And it's mightily unfortunate that Kai Havertz hasn't broken the deadlock there. You are struggling for goals, and it won't help when you have good chances like that could so easily on another night just rebound into the back of the net. Only 2 goals in the last 7 games in all competitions, only 4 in the last 11. It really is a drought that Graham Potter's men are suffering. As for Kai Havertz, he's despite his experience in the Bundesliga at Bayer Leverkusen, of course, he's never scored against Borussia Dortmund. Could have been his first there in the colours of Chelsea. Now for the visitors, hooked further down line by Marco Reus, flicked on by Sebastian Haller. Chelsea can lump it forward only as far as Emre Can, who goes down from the shirt pull of Havertz towards the halfway line. Reach the half-hour mark now. Still Chelsea 0, Borussia Dortmund 0. Independent off-tube studio commentary. I said it was goalless in the match in Lisbon between Benfica and Club Brugge. There has been a goal in that one now. Rafa Silva, after 38 minutes, has given Benfica the lead there. So an even more comfortable 3-goal advantage on aggregate now for the Portuguese side. Schlotterbeck going down again under the challenge of Kai Havertz. He's obviously always instructed, isn't he, to press Kai Havertz, to use his height and strength, even in a defensive sense as well. Could sometimes result in giving many fouls away, but it's maybe just a testament to the very intense start that Chelsea have given, and you just sort of wonder how long it can last.
Yeah, because with Dortmund having most of the ball, by logic, Chelsea are going to have to do quite a lot of chasing, and they're going to have to use their energy wisely, I think, for the rest of the game.
Guerreiro into the 6-yard area, punched away by Risa Balaga, who's taken no chances. It could have reached the head of Kalidou Koulibaly, but the keeper took charge, and then João Felix trying to get a through ball on the way for the break. Alexander Meyer reading it very well and thumping it upfield, flicked on by Jude Bellingham, the most advanced Dortmund player at the moment. Back in Chelsea possession now with Mateo Kovacic, the Chelsea captain for this evening. Enzo Fernandez under pressure from Salih Özcan, but rides the challenge well. Fofana lofting it up for Havertz, who's now on this right wing position. Sterling in the central one, lays it off to Reece James. He's asking for a foul from Danny Makelele, and he gets it after eventually being dragged down. But he's had his injury issues as well, hasn't he, as Reece James. We mentioned that they've had a difficult season in trying to gel new players, but the existing players they've had, as we said, so many injuries, not least with Reece James. But it's great to see him finally back, and he can be a real threat on that right flank for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think where Chelsea are improved massively with their first choice players is both fullback positions. The man on the ball now, Ben Chilwell, tries to lay one off. It's hit up into the air by Schuler, and then Kovacic on the volley. Bit of a snapshot from the edge of the D, sends it over the bar. But Reece James and Ben Chilwell are among the best fullbacks, not just in the Premier League, but you could argue in European football as well. Both of them have had their injury problems. It's great to see them fit again. And you're right, they do bring extra energy, they bring assists. I think more so in Reece James's case, he brings a couple of goals as well. So really important to have those two back in the team, fit and firing.
Yeah, it's a great English pairing in either wing-back role, and you said it yourself with them hopefully being back to full fitness. You'd hope that they can help turn this match around for Chelsea, and indeed turn their season around. Only 3 wins in the last 17 matches in all competitions, 10 of those being defeats. As we've said, Graham Potter has been under immense pressure, not just from maybe the board above him and the press, but the Chelsea fans as well. Many calling for his head already. Getting that win against Leeds United on the weekend has maybe bought him a little bit extra time, and if he was to turn this tie around in the round of 16 and eliminate Dortmund, just get a bit more fans on board in his favour. Ball from Dortmund now, taking the free kick, not coming to anything. Fofana can launch it forward, and now Enzo Fernandez drives into the Dortmund half. Kai Havertz, now Reece James, he's got Raheem Sterling ahead of him, but they're just not on the same wavelength. James and Sterling, the wing-back, trying to find the former Man City man, but in the end out for a Dortmund throw-in.
Yeah, Sterling looked like he just stopped his run as James released the ball, so he couldn't then get back on the gallop quickly enough to be able to keep it in play. That's something that I think comes as part of not having too much possession in the game. You're not quite as interconnected going forward. One thing I will say about Chelsea, they've defended pretty well, and whatever Dortmund have tried to throw at them, they've dealt with quite comfortably. But now it's a case of Chelsea trying to make something for themselves.
Marc Cucurella down the line, of course, another wing-back at Chelsea's disposal, but he is operating in a back three tonight with Ben Chilwell ahead of him. And his ball down the line eventually earns Chelsea a throw-in deep inside Dortmund territory. Cucurella will be the one to take it. João Felix offering the short option under pressure from Bellingham. Now Kovacic, chance for him to get the ball in the box. 25 yards from goal. Enzo Fernandez going from left to right with Fofana now into Koulibaly. Cucurella. Kovacic finding a bit of space between the Dortmund defensive triangle. Chelsea opting to just be a bit more patient, and as we said earlier, we've seen so little possession. Just trying to get their stamp on the ball at the moment. Fernandez, now Fofana. Good ball through the Dortmund midfield for Kai Havertz. Even better one into João Felix. A long strike from distance is blocked in the end. I don't think it would have tested Alexander Meyer too well, but the deflection takes it out for a corner. And again, it was Graham Potter earlier trying to animate the Chelsea fans, and now it's João Felix.
Yeah, the fans are getting pumped up now as they try and take this corner kick right in front of the Dortmund fans as well. It was a kind deflection from Felix, because you're absolutely right. There's no way that shot was going to trouble them. It's safe to say that Ben Chilwell's not getting a warm reception from the Dortmund fans.
Very animated Dortmund faithful over there. You said earlier they've left their mark on the Stamford Bridge pitch. Yellow cloud of smoke at the start of the kickoff. Danny Macchielli just having to throw a smoke bomb into touch as well, as Chilwell offers the outswinging option. 2 hands raised from the England fullback. It'll go towards the back post. Reaches Koulibaly. Didn't know too much about it. Maybe surprised that it reached his midriff, and Dortmund can clear it away all the way back to Arrizabalaga now, to his Spanish compatriot Cucurella. Rafael Guerreiro is the one pressing for Dortmund as the long ball looks towards Koulibaly, who stayed up, offering that aerial ability. Tries to flick it on for Kai Havertz. Marius Wolf does just about enough in the end to clear it out for Chelsea corner. Yeah, with about 9 minutes left of this first half, I think the offside flag has been given in the end in favour of Dortmund, so they might take their time on this one. It seems obvious, doesn't it, from the dynamic that Edin Terzic has applied to his team here. They'd be obviously very happy with a draw. They've won all of the last 10 games in all competitions. They don't really know what a draw is, let alone a defeat. But obviously that's the way they've deployed themselves today. And I imagine Terzic will be relatively happy with his team's performance, even if Chelsea have been knocking on the door a bit more.
Yeah, they're doing what they need to do, and they have been able to keep Chelsea out thus far. I think he'll be annoyed as Dortmund do come forward. Well, Wolf tried to play an ambitious-looking through ball towards Marco Reus, and Reece James did quite well to recover. Yeah, all Dortmund need is a draw, so there's no need for them to really try and force the issue.
Ball over the top four. Raheem Sterling for the time being. The flag does stay down. Sterling through on goal. Gets the shot away. What a save that is from Weber. And Meyer, I should say. He comes back out to Kai Havertz. What a goal that is. He curls it in off the crossbar, but the delayed celebration. It did appear that Raheem Sterling, from the first instance, was in an offside position. They waved play on. Sterling one-on-one. He didn't get his shot in. It was good save from Meyer. Obviously, it won't count in the end. Poor Kai Havertz. He hit the post earlier on. He hit the crossbar on this occasion. They might have to get the one out for VAR here, because Sterling bends his run, doesn't he? It's his flag up. It's a cracking finish from Kai Havertz. Danny Macchielli confirms the offside. He raised.
I'd almost like to see the lines drawn just to see how close it was. I thought Sterling was, in fact, that the goal was ruled out, because everyone seemed to stop as the ball came back to Kai Havertz. As you mentioned, a fantastic finish, but they'd all stopped running in yellow, and that's why Havertz was able to get the strike away in off the crossbar, and it's a shame it's been ruled out because it was a lovely finish.
When your luck is out, Kai Havertz must be really frustrated at the moment. Some good chances in this first half. Unfortunate not to open the deadlock. You can imagine that's only going to serve to increase the atmosphere in Stamford Bridge. Not getting the rub of the green. The fans will motivate their players even more. They've earned a free kick inside Dortmund territory. Marius Wolf just bringing down Ben Chilwell rather cynically there. Chilwell beating him. He just left a heel on the Chelsea wing back. And of course, with the 10-minute delay in this game, it does mean that it's already half-time between Benfica and Club Brugge. The Portuguese side have doubled their lead on the evening, with Gonçalo Ramos, of course, who had a fantastic World Cup for Portugal, has got the second. Ball in from Bel Chilwell, forced to Kalidou Koulibaly, and it comes in behind him, and then João Felix gets the shot away, saved by Meyer. Again, I only mentioned a minute ago that Koulibaly was surprised the ball reached him from a corner, this time a free kick, and what an opportunity it was for him to pull the trigger and open the deadlock, but sort of hit the back of his heel in the end. And now here come Dortmund with Salih Özcan brought down by Mateo Kovacic. Özcan is asking for a yellow card to be awarded to the Croatian. I don't think it's going to be given by Macchielli, but another dangerous set piece, a fantastic ball in from Ben Chilwell. It was only begging for a tap in from Koulibaly. It gone past Meyer, it's an empty net, and it just hits the heel of the Senegal centre-back and falls to João Felix, who gets the shot away straight at Meyer.
Falling to the wrong man, a classic case of, and Kalidou Koulibaly could have had a couple of goals from set pieces in this game. No matter what the scoreline is at half-time, I suppose, unless Dortmund go and get a couple of goals in the next few minutes, this has been a really good performance from Chelsea, and I don't think Graham Potter could have asked for too much more. It is going to be a free kick for Borussia Dortmund, and it will be an almighty sucker punch if they do go forward and get a goal of their own. It doesn't look like they're gonna the rest of this first half. I mean, it's a harsh and cruel world, football. Chelsea have been excellent in the game. We are getting a replay now, and it was half of Sterling's foot, I think, that was in an offside position. We've got the automated replay now. Very, very tight, and Kai Havertz suffering the consequences as a result. But Chelsea have been good so far. However, being good means nothing if you can't score.
And just from that free kick, we said that Dortmund might be happy with, as it stands, the draw, and just trying to take their time. In the opinion of Daniel Macaulay, Nicolas Sula was taking too long in that free kick. He's been given a yellow card for time wasting. Here's Ben Chilwell with the first time effort. Completely mishit in the end. I think he tried to cut it across the face of goal, got his angles all wrong and swipes it out for a goal kick. But again, the appreciation is there from Graham Potter. It's been a fantastic first 45 from Chelsea. Ben Chilwell and Reece James bombing down those wing back positions, the interplay between the front three. Felix into Havertz there, who lays it off for Chilwell, but just swipes at it in the end at the crucial moment.
Again, it's dropping to the wrong man. What I've been impressed with by Chelsea is that when they come forward, there is a lot of quick one-touch football. I do think Felix is making quite a bit of a difference to Chelsea in the way that he can, get the ball, and players will immediately make runs because they're confident that he can find him. I like the role that Havertz is playing. I think he's obviously not a natural centre forward, but he's dropping deep and he's getting involved in the link-up play. There's been a lot to like about Chelsea so far.
Perhaps again here, with only a handful of minutes left in this first half, Kai Havertz running down the wing into Kovacic, gets past Marius Wolf and past Sally Özcan, but Nicolas Sula gets in the way in the end, but it falls kindly to Ben Chilwell, cuts it across for Raheem Sterling, miss-hit, and then he gets it the second time of asking, and then thumps it into the roof of the net. Chelsea have finally broken the deadlock. They've been knocking at the door for the entirety of the first half. Plenty of players getting their shots away. This time it falls to Raheem Sterling. At the first time of asking, he swipes at it, falls kindly to his right foot, and he makes no mistake at the second time of asking.
Yeah, really good goal, and it was coming for Chelsea, and Graham Potter and Todd Bowley in the stands. They'll be relieved men. Raheem Sterling will be relieved as well, because as the ball came across, a little bit like Koulibaly a few minutes ago with the Chilwell set piece, Sterling scuffs it, but luckily it does drop back to him, and he's got the presence of mind to get the strike away second time, and there's no kind of airs and graces. He just thumps it towards goal. He had to show some good footwork to get away from Marco Reus as well in the box. A good strike from Raheem Sterling, exactly what Chelsea need, and they can take real confidence going into the second half.
Just before that goal, I was about to say, really, the Dortmund have to be careful because they've certainly operated in being defensive-minded, but Chelsea have been so dominant in attack, and they've been punished now of the visitors. The slightest of touches from Alexander Meyer. Far too much power on the strike from Sterling for the keeper to do anything about it, though. Just thumps it into the roof of the net, and all that hard work from Graham Potter's men has finally paid off. They're on level terms on aggregate, of course. Now, if it was to stay this way, it would go to extra time. It's a repeat of the scoreline at the moment when they achieved a victory against Leeds United, and Raheem Sterling is the man to get them off the mark in this Champions League round of 16. There's only a few seconds left before we've reached the 45 minutes. And after some slight time wasting from Dortmund, you'd imagine Chelsea will be the ones just to slow the pace down now until the interval. Here's Arisa Balaga. 3 minutes have been added on by the fourth official, you'd imagine, owing really to the early injury to Dortmund. Here's Mateo Kovacic now. Kukureya, instead of going down the line, he plays it centrally for Kovacic. Chelsea have got a spring in their step now, and here's Enzo Fernandez. Fofana running forward, good ball round the corner from Raheem Sterling. He fizzes it into the area. Reece James trying to find Kai Havertz. Well, every Chelsea fan is on their feet at the moment. They're absolutely flying, aren't they? Every pass is working out. They're really threatening the Dortmund defence, and then showing no signs of slowing down. Corner has been taken short. With now Reece James, ball into Enzo Fernandez, 1-2, back to James, cut it back to Kovacic, ball into the area. Well, rather instinctive more than anything from Kai Havertz, trying to go for an overhead kick. In the end, it comes off of his shin. But again, another round of applause from Graham Potter. Chelsea fans must be absolutely booming now. It's been relentless.
Stamford Bridge is absolutely rocking, and relentless is the right word to use. They've blown away Dortmund, particularly in the last 10 minutes of this first half. They started really well, then Dortmund had a couple of opportunities, the Royce free kick, but Chelsea have been absolutely outstanding. The fans must be wondering where this sort of performance has been in the reign of Potter so far, but to be honest, right now, that doesn't matter. The important thing is for them is trying to get a second goal. They might have to wait until the second half. Dortmund can't wait until the half-time whistle's blown just to try and get themselves a bit of a breather.
It's going to be a crucial 15 minutes, maybe for both managers. Edin Terzic especially needs to just tell his players to completely refocus. As for Graham Potter, it would be the polar opposite. It would be asking for more of the same from his men. With a minute left of the first half, it really does open for an exciting second period for the neutral, doesn't it? With the aggregate scoreline level, all to play for. Here's Marco Reus. The rebound might fall kindly to Rafael Guerreiro. The right wing position at the moment, marked by Cucurella, is Gio Reyna. Now Nicolas Sula. It'll fall kindly to Jude Bellingham. What a through ball that is to Rafael Guerreiro. Tackled at the crucial time from Ben Chilwell, just as he was about to pull the trigger, Guerreiro. But a great ball from Bellingham that cut through about 2 or 3 Chelsea players.
Yeah, it was absolutely superb, and Guerreiro did right to stay up, and he nearly profited from that. But you're right, a fantastic challenge from Ben Chilwell. Chelsea have just got to keep switched on. We've got about 20 seconds left of the 3 minutes that were added on. Don't give Dortmund a chance.
It's a good end to the half this from Dortmund. Here's Sebastian Haller inside Chelsea's penalty area. Goes outside to find Jude Bellingham, who looks for his options in the box. He opts not to cross it. Eventually does now, blocked by Enzo Fernandez, and well, that will be the half-time whistle blown by Daniel Makelele, and Chelsea will be delighted that they finally got their goal after so many opportunities. Raheem Sterling the one to break the deadlock, and as it stands, it does leave a thrilling second 45 with the aggregate scoreline at 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 1, Dortmund 0.
Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got their reward on 43 minutes. A ball in from the left-hand side, fell to Raheem Sterling. He miscontrolled it initially, but then got the ball back under control and slammed it into the roof of the net. Kai Havertz has hit the post, and he's also had a goal ruled out for Sterling being offside in the build-up. Dortmund need to sharpen up, it's 1-0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, 1 apiece in aggregate, and it's been a thrilling contest so far, dominated by Chelsea. They've been outstanding, and they got to the touchline to have a look at the monitor. And usually that means only one thing.
It does, yeah. So often they go over and it's Fernandes bringing down Bellingham and getting away with it a bit there, but coming forward again, the German outfit, now with Reina. Bellingham ahead of him. Conor Gallagher brings down Reina, but the referee gives nothing, or does he? He's brought it back for a free kick. He took all the time in the world to make his decision, and he blew the whistle at the time that Gallagher, the one that did foul Reina in the end, was through on goal for Chelsea. It is there's not too much contact, is there? You might have thought he could have been leg swept by Gallagher, but there's not really any contact from the hip down. If anything,
that's so soft. That's not a free
the finest of contacts, isn't it? I think they've got away with it there, Dortmund again. Gio Reyna just looking to get a free kick in a dangerous position for Dortmund, which he has. But he's risking Machieli not giving the decision there, and Chelsea were through on goal. It was a 3-on-1 scenario, but what an opportunity now for Dortmund to get a goal here. Guerrero to the back post, no one there for Dortmund. Might run for Nicolas Süle. Ben Chilwell gets there first, and get anywhere will do for Chelsea. Last 5 minutes of regulation time. Could be backs to the walls, expecting a Dortmund onslaught. As you said, there'll be plenty of minutes added on, owing to the VAR at the very start of the second half. The handball decision, then the decision to retake the penalty after the Dortmund encroachment. Here's Bino Gittins trying to get around Reece James. Reece James has committed a foul in the end on Gittins. I mean, the England youngster had his hands all over James, but he was sort of leaning into Bino Gittins in the end, preventing him from getting round the Chelsea man.
They were almost cuddling each other off the sideline. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. James has got to be careful too. A booking for him would mean that he misses the first leg of the quarter final. But you're absolutely right with the word you use. Backs to the walls job for Chelsea. I think now with 86 minutes of the game gone, they've got to now forget about getting a third goal and just continue preserving their 2-0 advantage, unless they get a really good counter-attack, of course, which Dortmund are leaving themselves open to.
Yeah, you can expect many more attacks from Dortmund. Whether they leave themselves exposed at the back remains to be seen. Chelsea are going to make their 4th change of the evening. Both teams have made 3. It's going to be Carney Chukwuemeka that's going to come on, is it not, for Enzo Fernandez, who, you rightly said only a minute ago, could so easily have received a second yellow card in as many minutes, really, after bringing down Gio Reyna. In fact, it's Dennis Zakaria in the end that's going to come on in his place. A bit more of a defensive-minded central midfielder, the Swiss international, of course. German experience for him as well, formerly of Borussia Mönchengladbach. So again, just to shore up the midfield, but mainly just given that Enzo Fernandez might have just got his blood up a bit, got his blood racing and committed to a few fouls, and maybe slightly lucky not to have received a second yellow card a few minutes ago.
Yeah, possibly so. I like the thinking from Graham Potter. I think it's sensible to get him off. You know, Zakaria more than capable of stepping in. He's someone that's played a lot of his football in Germany too, so he knows the score here.
Reina trying to check back onto his right foot. He's got Reina again for support. Now Schlotterbeck. Zakaria has gone right in the place of Enzo Fernandez. Ball into the box from Süle, left by Reece James. Whether he got the shout or not, we don't know. It's fallen to Reina. Poor cross from him though. Reece James taking no chances on this occasion, at least, to clear it out straight for a Dortmund throw-in. Zakaria has had some great performances for Chelsea this season. I remember quite a few in the Premier League. I haven't said that great tackle there from him on Bino Gittins, but he's had his injury issues as well, which has prevented him from perhaps having more responsibilities in Graham Potter's starting 11. Here's Daniel Marlon riding the challenge of Zakaria. Out now to Emre Can, 40 yards from goal. Further forward to Nicolas Süle, who again continues his run. Ball into the box from Marius Wolf, onto the head of Jude Bellingham. He is a threat with both the ball at his feet and the ball in the air. He rose well to meet the cross. Maybe not enough pace on the ball in the end to send it back to where it came from. And in the end, it didn't really test Arrizabalaga.
Yeah, he scored a goal for England from a similar range to that during the World Cup. I think it was the first goal against Iran in the group stage. So he does get up well, and he did leap well to get there. But unfortunately, there were just too many bodies around him. It would have been a brilliant header, worthy of one of many fine target man forwards that have been in football over the past few years. But I think Chelsea now are starting to believe that this is going to be their night.
You'd assume there's plenty of nerves in the crowd, but they're not showing it. Still rallying the troops forward and encouraging them to get this victory over the line, a victory that would see them into the quarter-finals. And have Dortmund committed too many men forward here? Kai Havertz finding Christian Pulisic. Again, not the best of balls, but Pulisic does well with it and gets past a few Dortmund men. Now Cucurella into Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Back to Cucurella now. Ben Chilwell in line with the Dortmund penalty area. Far left, further forward now to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Chilwell gets it back, tries to find Pulisic, who found a pocket of space between the Dortmund midfield and defence. Dortmund can only clear as far as Kalidou Koulibaly. It'll come to Christian Pulisic, who was miles offside anyway, but he couldn't find the target.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see him take the ball around the goalkeeper then, just to waste a few seconds, put the ball in the back of the net. It would have needed to have been checked then, not that it would have been a particularly lengthy check. 6 minutes of added time at the end of this game, so Dortmund have got 6 minutes to preserve their Champions League hopes for the season.
6 minutes that separate Chelsea's progression or elimination, Dortmund's progression or elimination as well. And Kai Havertz, who's had a brilliant game, hasn't he? He's held the ball up well there. He's found Zakaria. It's a 3-on-3 at the moment for Chelsea if he can get the numbers right. And Zakaria tries to find Pulisic just behind the American. Havertz will keep it from going for a Dortmund throw-in. And then, instead of opting to go to the corner flag, well, I say that, he was about to go to the penalty area, now checks back to go to the corner flag. Marius Wolf does well to dispossess him and earn Dortmund a throw-in. Ben Chilwell just holding the shirt of the Dortmund fullback, and well, it's very cynical that from Ben Chilwell, isn't it? Because he's running away with the ball. Marius Wolf is always going to try and shove him off of it, and then Chilwell's just waiting for the reaction, which he gets, and all of a sudden it's handbags from about 10 players.
Yeah, Wolf wants the ball, and Chilwell, he's just prodding it forward, trying to delay the inevitable. It does make me laugh when players protest bookings like that. It's clearly time wasting from Ben Chilwell. It's clearly a foul as well. He's not wanting to give the ball back on that occasion, but I think Chelsea will be grateful for that little moment. I'm a little bit surprised that Wolf's maybe not. No, he has been shown a yellow card. We've just got the graphic up now.
Is Schlotterbeck the further forward for Dortmund, tries to flick it on, but there was no one there, and it goes straight into the hands of Narisa Balaga. It always seems a staple now for referees, doesn't it? If there's shoving from even just one player in a two-man argument, both of them are going to get a yellow card. Have been seen. Chelsea would love for the remaining four to absolutely fly by. Dortmund will try and come forward again. Marco Reus is the furthest back for them at the moment. So is Emre Can. Got space to run into. Bellingham down the left, gets a ball into the box. Miss hit in the end. He was trying to swing it outwards, but in the end it curls comfortably into the hands again of Arisa Balaga. Jude Bellingham just holding his groin there, but he's back onto his feet. He's got plenty of strapping on that left thigh and left knee, the left leg of which tried to whip that ball into the box, but there's been a lot of ball
cross that was going on target, and Kepa had to backpedal very quickly, and his handling skills proved to be effective as well. But we've played half of the 6 minutes allotted at the end of this game, and Dortmund still pressing forward.
We can guess where this ball's going from. Maya up to any number of Dortmund players. Bellingham one of those. He doesn't win the aerial battle, and now miscontrol from Emre Can allows Pulisic to just run the clock down, running down the line. Still got Can for company though, and he'll run all the way to the corner. That's a great challenge from Emre Can. He was behind Pulisic and could so easily have given away a free kick, which could have killed another 30 seconds out of the game. But instead, he's allowing Dortmund to come forward.
It's poor from Pulisic because Gallagher was making a run through the middle, and I know it's high risk, but there was no one around him. All he had to do was just get the ball away from Can into Gallagher's path, and he had a one-on-one chance to score a third goal.
Wolf launching it forward again to the head of Bellingham. Reina will keep it alive, flicked on by Royce. Poor clearance from Fofana, might come to Bellingham if he can get his head onto it. Doesn't find Royce. But again, a half-hearted clearance from Chelsea. Bino Gittins has got a chance to whip it in. Deflected. Comes to Royce. Was he brought down by Dennis Zakaria there? They're going to get a corner out of it, Dortmund. Dortmund might want more from it. Royce is staying down and rolling along the ground. I think Zakaria got the slightest of touches on the ball. Royce hasn't got up just yet. I don't know if he's just staying down to try and get the referee to wait for some confirmation from the VAR. No, it will be a corner. And the goalkeeper, Maya, has come up for it as well. It comes nearly to him. Cleared only as far as Emre Can. 20 players in the box at the moment. Here's Reina. Cross looking for Wolf. Comes into Daniel Marlin. Back into Wolf. Chance to strike. Deflected straight into the hands of Kepa Arrizabalaga. There was no Chelsea player closing down that strike. There's a few heart-in-mouth moments, I bet, from those on the pitch and those in the stands, because Wolf had acres of space to get the shot away. Fofana tries to close him down, gets a touch on the ball. Could have gone anywhere, couldn't it?
Yeah, it certainly could. Just looking back at the challenge on Royce, I think it was a good challenge from Zakaria. Now Chelsea down the other end, but Havertz sensibly holds the ball up, running through the middle, trying to get away from Bino Gittins. And he's kept hold of the ball.
Great play from Kai Havertz, and playing through Ben Chilwell has earned Chelsea a free kick. Wolf is again frustrated with Chilwell. They've had a fair old battle in the last few minutes, haven't they? Earning a yellow card a few minutes ago for an altercation. Wolf wanted another one there, as Chelsea will eat these seconds away. As the foul went in, there was about 60 seconds left. You'd imagine there won't be much time left for the visitors to get their goal. The yellow wall that has travelled to West London might go home empty-handed after that first leg victory at the Westfalenstadion. Chelsea look to have done just about enough to earn their place in the quarter-final. Ben Chilwell finally on his feet now. Cucurella having a word with Danny Macchiele. So much so that he's earned himself a yellow card. I'm not sure. It must have been a bit overzealous in his language.
Yeah, I think dissent's the only reason why he would pick up a bookie now. Graham Potter will be a relieved man when this full-time whistle goes, providing the scoreline stays the same, but we're beyond the 6 minutes now. Chelsea have got a free kick that will be going in only one direction, and that's towards the nearest corner flag.
Absolutely no one of a Chelsea persuasion in the penalty area, all surrounding the corner flag. Christian Pulisic, just any touch will do to get it round Bellingham. Bellingham dispossesses Pulisic, and we're going to get a Dortmund free kick. Is there any time to take it? It's still inside their own half. They'll take it short, and Bellingham will launch it forward. Only straight. Christian Pulisic, the miscontrol from the American edge of the area, finds Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and again he's going to run to the corner flag, isn't he? The Chelsea fans applauding that decision. It's in 7 minutes now. Danny Macchiele is going to get his yellow card out again here. Is it for Jude Bellingham? We'll await confirmation on that one. There is a Chelsea man down. James, isn't it, who went down under the challenge of Jude Bellingham. Well, Bellingham's gone absolutely sliding in there. Rather, it is confirmed the Bellingham yellow card. Bellingham goes over to apologise, but with the injuries that Reece James has had, he'll have been scared that there could have been another one there. But turnaround by Graham Potter's men. Two victories now on the bounce in all competitions, each coming with a clean sheet. A clean sheet that was crucial here after a 1-0 deficit in the first leg. Goals this time from Raheem Sterling and Kai Havertz from the penalty spot have done enough to earn them a 2-1 aggregate victory, and more importantly book their place in the Champions League quarter-final. The Dortmund players are swarming around Danny Macchiele.